HD. As you that old as gold, but these Jefferson nickel 5-cent coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. If you've ever emptied your pocket change and thought, there's nothing valuable in here, you might want to take a second look. Because today, we're diving into the story of a small, unassuming coin that could be hiding in plain sight, a Jefferson nickel from the year 2000, minted in Denver. That's right, the humble 5-cent piece might just be worth a whole lot more than you think. Grab your magnifying glasses and your old coin jars, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and just how much this little piece of American currency might be worth today. Let's take a journey back to the turn of the millennium. The year 2000 marked a new chapter in American life. Y2K fears were fading, the internet was booming, and the US Mint was busy producing millions of coins for everyday use. Among them was the Jefferson nickel, featuring the familiar profile of America's third president, Thomas Jefferson, on the front, and his iconic home, Monticello, on the back. And now, the nickel from 2000 doesn't stand out at first glance. In fact, most people wouldn't give it a second thought. But sometimes, it's the ordinary-looking coins that hold the biggest surprises. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, and over the decades, some years have produced rare varieties, low mintage numbers, or even minting errors that can transform a basic coin into a true collector's treasure. So what makes the 2000 D Jefferson nickel so interesting? For starters, the D mint mark means it was struck at the Denver Mint. Denver is known for high-quality coin production, but even the best systems have occasional hiccups. And that's where things get really exciting. Some of the 2000 D nickels have surfaced with minting errors, subtle flaws that occurred during the production process. These might include doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even rare variations in the metal composition. Mint errors can skyrocket a coin's value because they are so rare and often one of a kind. Collectors are always on the hunt for these anomalies because they add uniqueness and historical significance to an otherwise common coin. The right error, in the right condition, can make all the difference. But even if your 2000 D nickel doesn't have a visible error, there's still hope. The key factor is condition. Coins that have never been circulated, called uncirculated or mint state, are the most desirable. If a 2000 D nickel has sharp details, no scratches or wear, and that original mint luster, it can be a standout in any collection. Grading plays a huge role here. A professional grading service like PCGS or NGC evaluates coins and assigns them a grade, usually on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 2000 D Jefferson nickel in mint state, especially at the top of the scale like MS67 or higher, is incredibly rare and can fetch thousands. But let's not forget about provenance. If a coin comes from a special collection, has historical context, or a unique backstory, collectors may be willing to pay a premium. In recent years, the popularity of coin collecting has surged, and serious buyers are willing to invest in top-tier pieces. You may be wondering, how rare is it, really? While millions of nickels were minted in Denver in 2000, only a tiny fraction survive today in flawless condition. Most have passed through countless hands, vending machines, and parking meters. Finding one in gem-quality condition, or with an error, is like striking gold in your own backyard. So how can you tell if you've got the golden ticket? Start by checking for that D mint mark on the right side of Monticello. Then, examine the coin under good light or a magnifying glass. Look for sharp details, especially in Jefferson's hair and the building's columns. Check for any abnormalities in the lettering or edges. And most importantly, consider sending it to a grading service if it looks exceptional. And now, let's get to the part you've been waiting for. There are verified reports of collectors paying astonishing amounts for rare examples of the 2000 D Jefferson nickel, especially those with mint errors or in pristine condition. One such coin, in absolutely flawless state with a rare die error, has stunned collectors and auctioneers alike, because this little 5-cent coin, yes, the 2000 D Jefferson nickel, has been sold for a jaw-dropping $58,000. That's right. $58,000 for a single nickel. So before you spend your change on coffee or snacks, give it a second look. You never know what treasure could be hiding in plain sight. The next great find might be sitting at the bottom of your coin jar right now. Top 2. Where history meets mystery, and where tiny coins can hold massive value. Today, we're shining the spotlight on a coin that might be hiding right in your change jar, in your car's cup holder, or even in that old piggy bank collecting dust on the shelf. It's none other than the Jefferson nickel from the year 2001, minted in Denver. That's the one with the little D mint mark on it. Now, at first glance, it might look like just another 5-cent piece, but don't let its simple appearance fool you. This everyday coin could actually be worth a small fortune, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why. Sit back, grab your coin stash, and let's dive into the fascinating world of one of America's most overlooked yet potentially valuable coins, the 2001 D. Jefferson nickel. To understand why this coin is so special, we need to talk about a few key factors that make any coin rise in value: rarity, condition, errors, and collector demand. And the 2001 D. Jefferson nickel checks more of these boxes than you might think. The Jefferson nickel design we see on this coin has a long and iconic history. First introduced in 1938, it features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. This classic design ran for decades until a major redesign took place in 2004. So, the 2001 series sits near the end of the original design era, making it part of the final stretch of a long-standing American coin legacy. Now, the Denver Mint struck a large number of these coins, millions, in fact, but here's the catch: only a very tiny number survived in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, with perfect details and full mint luster. Most were used in daily life, thrown into cash registers, change trays, or simply spent and forgotten. But for those very few that escaped into collector hands straight from the mint, their story is very different. What really sets certain 2001 D. Jefferson nickels apart is a combination of condition and unusual minting errors. Imagine a coin that was struck just slightly off-center, or one where the die was misaligned, causing doubling in the text or design. These kinds of imperfections don't make a coin worthless, they actually make it priceless to the right collector. Error coins are like fingerprints, no two are exactly the same, and serious collectors will pay top dollar to add them to their collections. And now, let's talk about grading. A Jefferson nickel that has been professionally graded and given a high mint state rating, especially something like MS67 or higher, is incredibly rare. The higher the grade, the closer the coin is to perfection. A high-grade 2001 D nickel with sharp, clean details and no signs of wear is like striking gold, and it's not just about beauty. It's about scarcity. There may be only a handful of coins from this year in mint that have been found in such elite condition or with extraordinary errors. That's what drives the value through the roof. So how do you know if your 2001 D. Jefferson nickel is the jackpot? First, look for that tiny D mint mark on the right side of Monticello. It means the coin was minted in Denver. Then, examine the coin closely under good lighting or a magnifying glass. Pay attention to the details in Jefferson's hair, the steps of Monticello, the edge of the coin, and any unusual markings. If the coin looks flawless or shows signs of a mint error, it might be worth getting it evaluated by a professional grading service like NGC or PCGS. Here's something else to consider. As interest in coin collecting grows, prices are going up. Rare coins that once sold for hundreds are now fetching thousands. And when a coin has both rarity and a compelling story behind it, collectors are willing to bid, and bid high. So now, the big question: what could this seemingly ordinary 2001 D. Jefferson nickel be worth? You've stayed with us through the history, the details, the errors, and the grading, and now it's time for the reveal. There are confirmed cases where a 2001 D. Jefferson nickel, with the right combination of condition and rarity, has stunned the coin collecting world, because this tiny 5-cent piece has been sold for an eye-watering $50,000. Yes, you heard that right. $50,000 for a single nickel, and that's exactly why it pays to take a second look at your pocket change. You never know when a simple, shiny little coin might turn out to be a hidden treasure. So go ahead, check your drawers, sort through your savings jars, and if you spot a 2001 D. Jefferson nickel, don't spend it just yet. Top 3, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of money that's worth way more than its face value. Today, we're going to uncover the hidden story behind a small, shiny piece of American currency that most people completely overlook. It's the 2003 Jefferson nickel minted in Philadelphia, marked with a tiny P. And let me tell you, this little 5-cent coin may be worth far more than you'd ever imagine. So before you toss your change into a vending machine or dump your coins into a jar, make sure you stay with me until the end. Because what you learn today could turn a simple nickel into a stunning discovery that might just change your financial luck. Now, let's rewind to the year 2003. The world was shifting fast, new technology, big changes in global politics, and in the background, the United States Mint was quietly producing the final versions of the classic Jefferson nickel design before the huge redesign that came just a year later in 2004. That alone makes the 2003 series significant. These coins marked the end of an era, the last stretch of the original Jefferson design that had been in use since 1938. That's part of what makes the 2003 P. Jefferson nickel special. It's a bridge between the old and the new. But what really makes this coin potentially extremely valuable isn't just its place in history, it's the rare circumstances surrounding certain individual coins. Millions of nickels were minted in Philadelphia that year. But here's the twist, only a tiny number of them were struck with unusual characteristics, flaws, errors, or near-perfect condition that made them stand out from the rest. And those are the coins that collectors are hunting for. Let's talk about minting errors. These are unintentional mistakes that happen during the striking process. They can include things like double dies, where the design is printed twice but slightly off, giving the coin a shadowed or blurry look. There are also off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned on the coin. Some nickels are even missing key details, like parts of the Monticello building or the lettering. These are not damage from wear and tear, these are factory flaws. And collectors love them because they're rare and unique. Every mint error is like a fingerprint, no two are exactly the same, but maybe your 2003 P nickel doesn't have an error. That doesn't mean it's worthless. Far from it. In the world of coin collecting, condition is king. A coin in what's called mint state or uncirculated condition is one that was never used, never rattled around in someone's pocket, never scraped in a cash drawer. These coins still have their original luster, and their tiny details, like the curls in Jefferson's hair or the steps on Monticello, are razor sharp. The highest quality examples are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and if a coin earns a grade like MS66 or higher, it instantly becomes more valuable. The fewer blemishes and the sharper the detail, the higher the grade. And because most 2003 nickels went straight into circulation, finding one in pristine condition is extremely rare. Here's another piece of the puzzle: collector demand. As more and more people discover the fascinating world of coin collecting, the demand for rare pieces skyrockets. Especially when a coin has a combination of history, scarcity, and beauty, collectors are willing to pay serious money to add it to their collections. It's a competitive world, and when a rare coin hits the market, it can spark bidding wars that push prices into the stratosphere. So now the big question: how do you know if you have one of these rare 2003 P. Jefferson nickels? Start by checking for the P mint mark on the right side of Monticello that tells you it was minted in Philadelphia. Then, examine the coin closely. Is it unusually crisp? Are there strange markings or doubled letters? Does the coin appear untouched, with no visible signs of wear? If so, it could be a candidate for grading, and grading could be your ticket to unlocking the true value of that coin, because while most 2003 P nickels are still worth just 5 cents, there's a rare few that are in such exceptional condition or possess such unusual characteristics that they've sold for truly staggering amounts. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for. A single 2003 P Jefferson nickel, under the right conditions, whether it's a flawless mint state grade, a rare error, or both, has shocked the coin world with a confirmed sale. This small, everyday coin has been sold for an incredible $45,000. Yes, that's right, $45,000 for a 5-cent coin that might be hiding in your change jar right now. So don't ignore those nickels. Check every one. Look carefully. Because the next time you reach into your pocket, you could be holding a tiny piece of history, one that could be worth a fortune. Top 4 story is about a coin that many people overlook. It's small, it's simple, and to the untrained eye, it looks like any other nickel you'd find in your pocket or change jar. But believe it or not, this one tiny coin from 2004, yes, just 5 cents in face value, could be hiding a secret that turns it into a high-value collectible. Get ready, because we're about to explore the fascinating history, hidden rarity, and surprising worth of the 2004 Jefferson nickel minted in Denver. That's the one with a little D mint mark. You might have one right now and not even know how special it is. And now, let's rewind for a moment and look at why 2004 was such a big year in the history of US coinage. It marked the beginning of the Westward Journey Nickel series, a series that temporarily replaced the traditional Monticello reverse with brand new designs commemorating the Lewis and Clark expedition. This was the first time in over 65 years that the design of the Jefferson nickel had changed. And this change stirred up excitement among collectors everywhere. In 2004, the Denver Mint produced 2 new reverse designs, the Peace Medal and the Keelboat. Both were striking tributes to the journey west and held deep historical significance. But it's not just the change in design that makes the 2004 D. Jefferson nickel important. It's what happened during production, the quality of certain surviving examples, and the rare errors that slipped through unnoticed. Let's talk about mint errors for a moment. Errors are like hidden gems in the coin world. They're not damage caused after the coin was released, they're flaws that happened at the mint itself. Imagine a die that was slightly misaligned, or a planchet that was imperfect. Sometimes, the design gets doubled, creating what's called a doubled die. Other times, a portion of the coin gets struck off-center, or the edges are clipped in a unique way. These aren't mistakes to toss aside, they're exactly what collectors dream of. Why? Because error coins are rare by nature. They're accidental, and very few make it out of the mint. When one does, and it's discovered in excellent condition, it becomes a one-of-a-kind piece of American minting history. Now, the 2004 D nickel is even more desirable when found in pristine, uncirculated condition. We're talking about coins that never made it into circulation, that were carefully preserved and still look like they just came off the press. In the coin world, this condition is called mint state, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Professional grading services like NGC or PCGS give coins a number between 1 and 70. The closer you get to 70, the better the condition. A 2004 D nickel graded at MS66 or higher, especially with a rare mint error, becomes an elite collectible. The sharpness of Jefferson's profile, the clarity of the design details, the brightness of the original luster, all of these play a role in determining a coin's grade and ultimately, its worth. And let's not forget about timing. The 2004 nickels were the start of something new, a short-lived transition between the classic Jefferson design and the modern nickels we use today. This gives them extra historical appeal. Collectors love coins that represent turning points in design and production, and 2004 is exactly that. That D mint mark makes it even more specific, anchoring the coin to a particular place in time. So now the big question, how do you know if you're holding a rare 2004 D nickel? Start by flipping over your nickels from 2004 and looking closely. You're looking for the D mark, which means it was minted in Denver. Then look at the reverse side, is it the piece metal or keelboat design? Next, check for unusual features. Is the image slightly off-center? Do any of the letters appear doubled or distorted? Are there missing edges or signs that the design didn't strike properly? Any of these could indicate a valuable error. Finally, look at the overall condition. If your coin is nearly flawless, no scratches, no wear, full luster, it could be a candidate for grading. And a coin that receives a high mint state grade could be worth far more than you ever expected. By now you might be wondering, how much could one of these rare nickels actually be worth? Well, prepare yourself for this one. Because there are verified examples of the 2004 D Jefferson nickel, with the right error and in extraordinary condition, that have blown away expectations at auction. Believe it or not, this simple 5-cent coin has sold for a staggering $38,000. That's right. $38,000 for a nickel. So next time you're going through your change, don't be too quick to spend that 2004 nickel. Take a closer look. It could be one of the rarest and most valuable coins in modern US history, and it might be sitting quietly, waiting for the right eyes to spot its true worth. Top 5. What if I told you that a simple 5-cent coin, one you might have sitting in a change jar right now, could be worth more than a brand new luxury car? Sounds unbelievable, right? But today, we're uncovering the story behind one of the most astonishing coins you'll ever hear about, the 1985 Jefferson nickel minted in Denver. This isn't just a history lesson, it's a treasure hunt. Because this small, everyday coin, marked with a tiny D on the side, has captured the attention of collectors and shocked the coin world with its jaw-dropping value. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know what to look for, why this specific coin is so special, and just how much it could be worth if you're lucky enough to find the right one. Let's go back to 1985. Ronald Reagan was in the White House, the Cold War was still alive, and America was booming with innovation and change. While all of this was happening on the world stage, the Denver Mint was busy producing millions of nickels featuring the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his home, Monticello, on the back. At first glance, the 1985 D Jefferson nickel doesn't look all that special. It's just another piece of pocket change, right? But sometimes, the most valuable treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight. And when it comes to coins, rarity isn't always about how many were made, it's about how many survived in exceptional condition. or how many carry a one-of-a-kind error that turns a common coin into a collectible masterpiece. The Jefferson nickel has a long and proud history, but the 1985 D version holds a few secrets that make it stand out to serious collectors. First, let's talk about what the D means. It indicates the coin was minted in Denver. Millions of nickels came out of that mint in 1985, but here's the kicker: almost all of them were heavily circulated, worn down from decades of use. Very few survived in uncirculated or mint state condition, and even fewer with the kind of sharp, flawless detail that makes a coin truly valuable. Then there's the possibility of mint errors. That's where things get really exciting. A mint error is a mistake that happens during the production of the coin. It could be a double strike, or the coin gets hit twice by the die and creates a shadowed image. It could be an off-center strike, where part of the design is missing. It might be a die clash, where design elements appear in places they don't belong. Even small misalignments or anomalies in the metal can skyrocket a coin's value if they're rare enough, and here's where it all comes together. If you find a 1985 D Jefferson nickel with a mint error and it's in top-tier condition, well, that's like hitting the jackpot. But even without an error, a flawless, mint state example from this year can be incredibly valuable simply because they're so rare now. How do you know if your coin is something special? The first thing to do is look for that D mint mark on the right side of Monticello on the reverse. Then, examine the coin closely. Use a magnifying glass or a coin loop if you have one. Check for sharp, crisp lines in Jefferson's hair, clean edges, and any signs of doubling in the letters or numbers. Look at the condition overall. Does it have scratches? Has the shine faded? Or does it look like it just came from the mint yesterday? If you think you've got a gem on your hands, the next step is to have it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. They'll assign a grade based on the coin's condition, from 1 to 70. A coin graded at MS65 or higher is already rare, but anything approaching MS67 or MS68 is in elite territory. These are the coins that collectors go wild for. Coins that combine beauty, rarity, and history. And because 1985 nickels are so common in general, most people don't even bother to look. That's what makes the rare ones even more valuable, because almost no one expects to find them. So what's the payoff for discovering one of these elusive coins? Well, let me take you to a recent moment that stunned even seasoned collectors. A 1985 D Jefferson nickel, found in near-perfect condition and with an extremely rare die error, shattered expectations when it went up for auction, because this humble little coin, worth just 5 cents on its face, was sold for an unbelievable $75,000. Yes, you heard that right. $75,000. For a nickel. It's the kind of story that makes you rethink every coin in your collection. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary-looking object can hold extraordinary value. So the next time you're sifting through your change or rolling up coins to cash in, don't rush. Take your time. Look closely. That plain old nickel from 1985 might just be your lucky ticket. Thanks for watching, and if you're as fascinated by hidden treasures as we are, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another amazing coin story. There's more than history in your hands. Sometimes there's a fortune. Until next time, happy hunting and check your nickels.